Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. We welcome back an old friend and a wonderful guest. It's Adam Russo. He's chairman and CEO of Edgewood Clinical Services. Welcome back, Adam.
Thanks for having me.
So you are back because you've got some exciting expansion plans. You were just growing. So tell me all about it.
Yeah, we're really excited. So we're doing a few different things. We currently have, late last year, we moved and created a whole separate business office down at the English Rose site in South Naperville. Okay. So we have our administrative teams down there, our client services department, billing departments are all there off-site in their own location, which is great. So then that has now freed us up. So our South Naperville office over on Artesian Road at 87th and 59, doing a huge construction there. So really kind of making it a more user-friendly space, adding offices, adding space. So that's happening currently, and it'll be done hopefully by June 1st. We'll cross our fingers, but it should be done shortly. And then we just signed an expansion lease up at our North Naperville site. So we're about quadrupling the size of our space up there to about 10,000 square feet. So really making a larger site to be able to accommodate not only, really for the need in the immediate area. And so we have that on the table. We have Lyle open. That's a nice large site, and then we'll be expanding our Plainfield site by the end of this year as well. Probably about quadrupling the size of that space too. So we have a lot of exciting things on the table.
Well, it's nice to have bigger space, but it's also nice of how well located you are, so that you are very accessible no matter where I am in this immediate area. And you don't want to have to drive far for this. It's critical service, and you need to, I think, be closer than not.
Well, especially for counseling,
right.
Because it's a weekly, typically, appointment. So it's one of these things. If it's an hour each way, that's time prohibitive. Right. People won't engage, and it's a burden, especially with all the other activities that are going on with kids and families and multiple children. It just gets to be overbearing. So we really want to make it so that location wouldn't be a barrier to care, and I think we did a pretty good job of that with how we stay integrated with the local systems and with schools and medical hospitals and pediatricians, and so all the locations stay pretty close together. That way, it's pretty intentional, so that we should be pretty close to people who are receiving services in any of those areas.
It helps a lot. So you've added a staff member, a child psychiatrist.
Yes.
So let's start with, what does that psychiatrist, what do they do, and how does that differ from your other counselors there?
Yeah, so child psychiatry is it's a unique subspecialty within medical practice, in that it's an additional. So when physicians go to medical school, they come out with obviously their degrees,
right,
and they get board certified, and so most are psychiatrists that prescribe medications and things. A child psychiatrist has an extra year of fellowship and training specifically related to psychiatric care with kids. So ages 4 and up, typically. And so in the state of Illinois, and really around the country, there's a major shortage of child psychiatrists. They're very hard to find. We're fortunate enough to have 2 currently, who are both former chief medical officers at different institutions, so very highly qualified, in addition to our other qualified psychiatric staff who see adults and things like that. But the child specialty is, again, they're hard to find. So we're adding a third child psychiatrist this summer. Her name is Dr. Tiffany Mateo, and she's finishing her fellowship out of Rush, and really good training with kids, especially with ADD, anxiety, and autism spectrum disorders, as well as mood issues. So we're really excited to be able to just enhance this area of care, especially because when things are going on with kids, parents oftentimes don't know, is it counseling? Do they need to be medicated?
Right.
Most of the time parents just want to say, let's make this behavior stop. And then there's 2 camps. You have some parents who say, okay, let's just medicate the kid. Let's just medicate them and let's just calm them down. And then you have other parents who say, I don't want to touch medications. How are we going to do this without medicine? And what's great about our docs is that while they understand, obviously, the benefit of medicine that it can have with kids, they're not pushing medicine. So the physicians will work with parents on, trying some different alternative approaches first, behavioral approaches, but still meeting with the parents just to kind of say, like, look, here's where we're at. This is where we are now. If the severity of the behavior continues, maybe we need to consider some medical intervention on a short-term basis, right, so that counseling can work better, et cetera. So they're pretty well-rounded in that respect.
Well, I think it's great that it's a team approach there, because they may be meeting with their weekly counselor, but they need this other support. And I think it's wonderful that's all together, so you don't have to go see somebody else.
Yes.
Again, it goes to care works better when it's convenient and it's good, but the convenient part really helps a lot.
It does, and having everybody under one roof between the psychiatry department, between our psychiatrists and nurse practitioners, we have about 7 of them total, and then between our psychologists and then our counselors, I mean, we're talking about a total number of providers pushing 60 or 70, and so as we grow, really trying to better integrate the communication and care, it just makes it ultimately gives better quality of care to the clients coming in, so that the providers are talking, and we can really make sure that that the time that they're coming in for treatment is actually that we're achieving the goals that they're outlining.
Yeah, one of the things I think is wonderful that you do is you're out in the community talking at schools, at different groups. Tell me what you're doing, and more importantly, why are you doing it?
Yeah, so this year's been great. I mean, a couple of years ago, I spoke at TEDx Naperville, and my topic was the importance of failure. As a general kind of overview piece, my belief is that the world is a difficult place, and as I've watched clinically kids deal more and more with anxiety, and especially it's centering around being perfect and everything, and everything in their life needing to go well, meaning academically, athletically, socially, whatever category you want to use. And so my thing has been, how do we start mitigating this anxiety? And maybe that centers around, how do kids just get comfortable not being perfect? And because our culture certainly doesn't teach that. It really reinforces the opposite. And so I spent, so this year did a lot of speaking, starting with, spoke to the entire freshman class at Neuqua Valley High School earlier this year, all the way to working with parent-teacher organizations in districts 203 and 204. I probably spoke to about 15 different schools between the 2 districts this year, to their parent groups talking about this. And now expanding out, to Glenbard South High School, Downers Grove North High School, spoke to the Illinois School Counselor Association on this topic, and it's amazing how really how much it's resonated with adults and kids. They're all kind of saying, everyone kind of, it's really funny. Ultimately, I think everyone kind of intuitively knows, it's okay, I'm not perfect. And the fact that someone's out kind of, especially on the clinical side, saying, you know what, you're going to be anxious, and it's not the end of the world, and you're not going to be perfect, and that's not the end of the world either. It kind of gives a sense of relief, especially the kids who I've spoken with.
What are the kids saying to you?
Yeah, the kids are interesting. The kids will. I spoke with when I spoke at 8th graders at Crone Middle School, and I asked the question of, what happens to people who don't get into like an elite school, a great college. And one kid raises his hand and he said, well, they just have to go work at McDonald's. And to me, that was the problem. Like, why are kids thinking that? Why is it elite school or bust, essentially? Like, why can't there be a huge middle ground? We don't talk enough about the trades and other alternatives that kids might be interested in, that might be, not even go the route of, kind of higher education, but much more toward, kind of those, technical routes. And then really when you have talks with kids and, they start to kind of understand that, hey, if I miss a homework assignment, like, because I forgot it at home, I don't have to panic and have my parents come over to school, which again is this next part of the problem, that parents contributed to it.
Right.
So, but it's interesting kind of talking with them, and they're open to it, but the parents ultimately have to get comfortable with the process too, because parents are scared. And so trying to talk to parents about, where you go to school is not going to define your life. And as much as we kind of think that culturally, it's just not the case. And so being involved with the schools and the systems and really, kind of continuing to talk this message, I think for many parents has been helpful.
Well, I think for all of us, it's super helpful to have Edgewood in our community. Have you out talking about this important issue of it's okay with failure. So, and thanks for stopping by here and sharing with us your exciting expansion plans. We wish you a lot of luck. We'll be keeping track of you too, just to see how it's all going. Thanks for stopping by. We're going to be right back with more Business Connection.